Hello, my friends. Today is April the 7th, and this is a reading for you if this is your birth date. This is a four-card pull to cover the year to follow. It's approximately 10 minutes long, so stick with me. This is a general energy card for the year, something that might sustain through it or chop it open for you to look at and reflect upon. Then there's a particular challenge you might face, an action to take to stay in balance, and an outcome or synopsis card. This is the general energy card of the year. It is the village. And the village is, what it says. It's the intimate community that is around us. Oftentimes we are born into a village, it keeps getting bigger as, we get outside of our immediate family and our immediate, siblings and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles, and when we're really small, start to go to school, our village widens. We start to go to church or synagogue or whatever it is, our village widens. We start to go to higher education, high schools and trade schools and things. Our village widens, but oftentimes we also need to get away from the village because the village seems very small. It seems very intimate. It seems like everybody knows everything about us. There's kind of a loss of anonymity. It's hard to stay hidden in a small village. It's hard to stay to yourself in a small village. It takes a lot of willpower, and most of the time we recognize that we need the village. The village gives us a lot of comfort and security and power and stability, and yet there's often something inside of us that says, but I need to seek my adventure. I need to seek myself in this direction. I need to leave the village and go study. I need to leave the village and go find myself and name myself in more comfort and ease without people judging me and holding me back. So there's all these kind of ramifications around the village. and and often if we've left the village, we often return to the village to compare and see how far we've come, and to compare and find ourselves against the fabric that once named us and created us and gave us a foundation to go forward with. Whether we accepted that foundation or not, we get to look at ourselves against the village and bring our wisdom to the village at some point, quite often. But maybe it's a completely different village than the one you grew up with. It's just the village of familiarity, and the family that one creates in one's life becomes the new village. So this is all about the creations of support, community, and growth that one brings along themselves, and the recognition is sometimes we outgrow those, sometimes we need them desperately, sometimes we need to come and go from them, sometimes we need the anonymity, sometimes we need the deep familiarity. So those are all the questions around, many of the questions around the village. So what is your particular challenge? Well, it is the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is normally, someone on a quest, and it's a quest for inspiration and fire and will. It's like you want to name yourself, but you don't, and you think you know how you want to name yourself, how you want to be seen in the world, what you want to have as your titles and your recognitions, what you want to devote your passion and your will to, what do you want to give your fire to. You know, we go along through our lives, keep putting our fire, our will toward things, and oftentimes it's a lackluster job when we want something better, or it's a lackluster life when we want something that has more meaning, or it's a lackluster connection of friendships and we want more depth. So passions, wherever passions may lead us, the knight is one who really usually knows. They want to study something, they want to be involved with something, you want to devote yourself to something, you want to give yourself to something wholeheartedly, in a sense of almost a service to it, so you can understand it and adapt it and adopt it, and become inflamed and impassioned by it. But that's your challenge. For some reason you have that, and I think you know what it is. Think you know what your passion is, but for some reason you don't feel like you can go do that. You can go and follow your will right now. You can't follow your passion right now. Maybe something is blocking you from following it. Maybe it's an internal feeling that says, no, I've got to do something else, even though I feel really called to do this. I just can't I can't get there. There are things that are in the way or things that block. So what is the action that is being called for? It's the otter, and the otter is all about sensuality, pleasure, playfulness primarily. The otter is all about playfulness, kind of the love critter of the waters, good on land, good on water, good on physical levels, good on emotional levels. The otter says, if fire isn't what's calling you to push through right now, then water, I think, needs to be the thing that speaks to you. So you have to, I think, water in connection with the village is about relationships and it's about uh, recognizing the depth of the relationships you have, recognizing that you can get a lot of support from them right now, and you can give a lot of support from them right now to them right now, and you need to be more. I think involved in the emotional relationships of the village right now. Whatever the village is, whatever the family is, whatever the clan is around you or the support system around you, you need to be more involved with that right now. There is something more important than pushing to go after the inspiration that you know is at the center of your heart. But this is an equally a valuable inspiration because your heart also says, but I want to love and I want to give and I want to support and I want to help and I want to help grow and I want to be nurtured and I want to be, loved and I want to play and I want to, be sensual and I want to be open and vulnerable and that's a necessary part of who you are and how you can be in balance with the fire, with the sense of needing to use your fire to create your definition and to live your passion. And this is an equal passion that's calling you that maybe you've forgotten about, that you need to be more open to. And in that, I think comes the sense of I want to say, you know, patience. And with it comes patience. You can't always get to where you want to go right away. Sometimes we can never get there. Sometimes it just takes surrendering to what is in front of us and going, well, this is what I need to do right now versus that. And I will come back to it and I can come back to it. And oftentimes we can come back to it. Sometimes those things have to fall away, just like the seasons have to fall away to become a new growth in the next year. So this is about, I think, learning about patience and timelessness. Look, the village on some level will always be there. Um, that support system we find can always be there if we choose it to be there. We have to often open to it and make it wherever we find it and wherever we go to. The original village will not always be there with those particular participants, but often it's going to be there in some form, and you always get to look at yourself, against that past life. So this is one of those times where it's about timelessness, is where it's about eternity, where it's about, being more fully balanced in your flow and not pushing so hard that you forget about other things like love and your body and your mind. The Knight of Wands is somebody on a quest, and oftentimes when you're so impassioned about finding something, you forget about the other things like emotional comfort and support and pleasure. You forget about your mind and studying something that might be talking to that mind level. Although Wands is usually often a pretty good connection with the mind, but not necessarily. The passion to become something and to hold something that has fire in it is not necessarily about the mind, because often those things can burn us, and if we don't, but we need to bring our mind along with it and our emotions along with it and our earth along with it to recognize whatever we're inflaming ourselves with is not going to burn us out or make us cold or hold us back or keep us from the other things in life that we really need to allow in as a full community within ourselves. We are the village inside of ourselves. So are you giving the power to all the different voices inside of yourself that needs something, that needs a balance of play? Ahom Mitakuye. This is about finding your balance of play and finding the patience to look for it. Ahom Mitakuye.